morning, Bumblebees, and happy Friday. Welcome to today's English lesson. It is the last English lesson of the week today, but it's also the last English lesson for the book Stuck. Because we worked incredibly hard all week looking at Stuck. We are going to move on to something else next week for the final week of our school year. So today I thought it would be a really good idea to write a letter to Floyd, because I don't know about you, but I've got lots of questions that I want to ask Floyd about the decisions that he makes in the story. So let's have a look at the things or the features we need to include when writing a letter first, and then we'll have a look at my letter that I have sent to Floyd about the story. And I've got a few things I actually want to ask him. So when writing a letter, don't forget you need to write it in the past tense because it's already happened in the story. Use the order of the story in order to structure your letter. So if you want to talk about the different events in the letter, that's fine. Just try to do them in the correct order that they happen in the story. Use chatty and informal language when writing. Okay, Floyd is a character. He's also a little boy. So we can use chatty language and we can use informal language such as contracted form. So just remember that when you are writing it. Use a range of sentence openers and joining words in your sentences. Firstly, to structure your sentences by using those sentence openers, but secondly, for using joining words. So make sure you're extending your sentences by adding those joining words in. And finally, focus on the events in the story to help with the detail in your letter. So if we don't look at the story and we just ask Floyd lots of questions, then our letter isn't going to flow. So let's take a look at my letter today, and then we'll have a look and see if I've included all of these writing features in my letter, and then you can have a go at writing yours. So it says, "Dear Floyd, I have a couple of questions I would like to ask you. I think your story is really funny and I like seeing all the different items you throw into the tree. However, I am confused. Why did you throw the ladder? Why didn't you just use the ladder to climb up and get the kite? Did you get into lots of trouble when you threw all the items into the tree? The funniest part was when you threw the milkman. I cannot believe he didn't shout at you." Okay, there's the end of my letter. So mine's quite short and I've obviously got a little bit more work to do on my letter, but let's have a look and see if my writing features are included in the letter that I have written here. So I'm just going to put my pen on. So firstly, we need to start with who you are writing to. So mine starts with Dear Floyd. Dear has got a capital letter and so has Floyd because Floyd is his name. Okay, so two things to think about. So I started off with I because I am writing this letter. So I definitely have a couple of questions I would like to ask you. Okay, I've got really lots of unanswered questions from this story. So I do think, so again, my opinion, I think is my opinion, isn't it? You might not think the story is funny, however I do. So I thought, I think your story is really funny. And I like seeing all the different items you throw into the tree. However, I'm also confused. So I've said I like it, and I've said that I thought it was funny. However, I've also said I'm confused, and I am confused because why did he throw the ladder? And that is a question that I have always asked every time I've read this story. Why did he throw that ladder into the tree? Why didn't he just use that ladder to climb up and get the kite? Now, I've asked two questions here, so both of those require a question mark. Then I want to also know, did you get into lots of trouble when you threw all the items into the tree? So again, a third question, which needs another question mark. Remember, your questions also start with a capital letter at the beginning of your sentences. And then I put a little bit of information in there that I thought, so I thought the funniest part was when he threw the milkman up into the tree. So I've put that into my letter. The funniest part was when he threw the milkman into the tree. I cannot believe he didn't shout at you. And I've finished with an exclamation mark, but also I've used contracted form. So I've popped an apostrophe in there for my contracted form. So I have used informal language. Let's have a look what else I put. So I've written it in the past tense because it's already happened. I have done it in the order of the story. I have used chatty and informal language when I've been writing. I have used a range of sentence openers and joining words and questions. Let's just pop a question mark on there because I have included some questions, and I have focused on the events like throwing the ladder or throwing the milkman and getting into trouble, which is my detail, isn't it? Okay, so I think actually I can tick the majority of these off my list because I have included them in my letter. My letter isn't quite finished yet either. So have a good go at writing a letter to Floyd. Send it through to me so I can see your letter writing and have a look to see if you have used all of those writing features. Have a brilliant weekend, and I will see you on Monday with a brand new book. Take care. Have fun, everyone.